Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the December 2018 meeting of the Lebanon Historic Preservation Commission. Christy, will you take the attendance roll, please?
Yes. Casey Sampson, Jim Morag, George Piper.
Here.
Dan Fleming.
Present.
Linda Ridgway. Here.
All right. We do have a quorum to conduct business here tonight. Next item is the approval of minutes from the, what month was that, Christy? September, yeah, okay. I thought it was September. It seems like it's been a couple of months. If everyone has had a chance to look those over, any corrections, additions, deletions, otherwise I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
So moved.
Have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, motion carries. We only have one item on the agenda here tonight for, and I've lost my spot on my files here. Just one item on the agenda. Do you have the agenda handy, Christy? Thank you.
Oh, no, sorry. I know.
I'll slide over here. Sorry about that. I'm sorry, certificate of appropriateness for Dulcin LLC for 106 Lebanon Street. Certificate of appropriateness for a facade renovation. We will first hear from staff and then we'll hear from the applicant.
Thank you, George. Good evening, Commission. Pretty straightforward application here, I believe. The applicant and I have worked over the last month or so about what would be appropriate and what wouldn't. The application in front of you tonight is for 106 North Lebanon Street. The property is zoned central business, and this particular parcel has not been before the HPC. You probably, commissioners are already aware, but this is the Ellis Jewelers building. So, the application is to restore or renovate, I would say, more of the storefront from the current configuration. So, and just to be clear, the application is for this area here, you see, including this door right here, but not the Royal Title building. So,
I think you're being real clear.
Yeah.
No X's.
Yes, exactly. I want to make sure that was extremely clear. So after some of the comments or questions that I was getting. So this particular facade rendering was done out of the gateway study that the city had done. We completed this probably 6 or 7 years ago. So, and it also included some renderings of what the downtown buildings could become. Applicants in the past have used these renderings. The Lamar building was designed based off of the renderings that were produced out of this study. And after the applicant and I talked, I showed him this, and he more or less agreed that this would be something that he'd be willing to do. So the applicant is removing the existing awning over the storefront. Demoing the existing storefront configuration. What you see here, the color's not showing up from the Elmo, but renovating that storefront into a wood facade, including a wood door and wood cased window. And also included in this is replacement of the upper windows with a wood window as well. Power washing and cleaning the limestone facade and painting the building, the new wood elements of the building, a Sherman-Williams black fox, which the name is a little deceiving. It's not necessarily black. I have the swatch here for you to look at. It's certainly a dark color, but it is in the brown palette. The HPC guidelines certainly suggest that a wood material is most appropriate for our district. We looked at some of the historic photos I have in my archives, and every single one that I could come up with has this building just out of view of what the original configuration was. So it was something similar to this from what we've been able to find. So this is a pretty close stab at reconstructing it into a historic configuration that would have been appropriate for the time. So this particular building, the applicant is proposing a flat front. The guidelines talk about the recessed doors, flat storefronts, and certainly of the historic photos that we have on file, there was a mix of both. So one way or the other is certainly appropriate. With this being a flat application, it's definitely within the guidelines. Let's see here if I have anything else to add. With everything that the applicant and staff has talked about leading up to this meeting tonight, and the use of materials, the colors, the restoration, HPC staff recommends approval of this application. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the commission has.
You know, Derek, on the door, will that, because it says it will be in the, this match the color scheme, are they talking about the color scheme of what they're doing on the 106 or what would be at 108?
You're talking about this door right here, George?
Yeah.
Yep, that will match the black fox for the actual building.
Okay.
That is included in the application.
Okay.
That door right there is the access to the space that's above this building.
Right, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, it's almost like it's more, goes almost more with the other building, but yeah, I know that's, yeah, because it's the access point.
It is.
They're doing that.
It's strange the way it's almost split right down the middle, but it does belong to this property.
Okay.
You know, over the years, it was likely access to both sides. In fact, when you go up there, you can see how they've kind of walled things off. But somewhere over time, it was, you know, new property lines were drawn, and it is certainly included in the 106 building.
All right.
So by pictures you could find, you couldn't tell whether the years back, before Ellis, that, because Ellis is you walk into and the windows are angled.
Yep, yep.
You couldn't tell years back whether it was a flat front.
No, and Ellis certainly has manipulated that storefront from the original configuration. What you see today is not the original configuration that Ellis was using. They had manipulated that for their very specific your business, you know, with the show cases on both sides as you walk in for the jewelry store. It looked like it was, from the pictures we have, it looked like the potential was more for a flat storefront than a recessed storefront.
Have you done research on old bank buildings around this time era as well to kind of get an idea of what it might look like? It was clear it was a bank building.
It was eventually a bank building. It was not built as a bank building.
Okay.
It turned into a bank building somewhere from the time it was built to the time it was sold to Ellis, and I don't know exactly what that time frame was. It was very short, but it was originally. It did not. The pictures I do not have what you see on top of that building right now. I believe there's some limestone up there that says bank. The 1905, 1899 pictures that I do not have that keystone at the top. So it was not a bank at that point. That was added somewhere in a probably 20-year period.
I'm curious because the Huntington building was a bank back in the 20s, 30s.
Yeah.
So, well, that far side of it was Union Federal. Of course, that's two buildings.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and there's some weird lines with the way, you know, on the west side of this building, Union Federal still owns some, their parcel is almost L-shaped around.
Huntington.
Yeah, Huntington. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Huntington. And there's a lot of crazy ownership around here with Huntington, and in fact, I think Huntington owns. The Huntington has the drive-through in their name, and then to the west of there, the parking lot is still under a different bank name, maybe. The GIS could be wrong, but we started researching all this, and it's like, you know, what is all this craziness? But he has a survey, so he's certain what he owns. Yeah.
Okay. Just curious. Good deal. Thank you.
Huh?
All right. Any other questions for staff? All right, thank you, Derek. We'll hear from the applicant now. If you can step to the podium, please, and give your name and address for the record.
James E. Doolin II, 13511 Brentwood Lane, Carmel, Indiana, 46033. I don't know that I can add a whole lot more. I would say that the existing front door, the kind of odd door in question, is currently a solid wood door, as well as the previous window at some point in time had been boarded up. So I think that will be a significant enhancement. Otherwise, like was stated, I went with the plan that was provided to the city because honestly it looked like a very nice, clean, historically correct, if you will, facade. So I don't think, my intentions certainly weren't to be very demanding. They were intended to be more compliant, if you will. And that color, I selected it because it's actually on my house. So when I saw that brown on the picture, I said, oh, heck, I got a good brown for that. So I texted my wife, and she gave me the color, and I ran by Sherwin-Williams and got it. But I'm happy to answer any questions.
You're replacing the windows up top as well.
Yeah, so there'll be 3 windows on the top floor, what would be the apartment. So what the intended use, I know that's not what's in question, but just for conversational purpose, first floor is going to be just wide open so that it can adapt itself to whatever eventually. I'm going to use it for a real estate office that I own. Later on, if somebody else comes along, I'm not making it too restrictive, if you will. It's going to be wide open. The upstairs is going to end up being a 2-bedroom den, 1 full bath, living room, kitchen, apartment. So residential unit, that's the intended use. So there are 3 windows upstairs. Those will be replaced, although probably won't look too much different than they do today, other than we'll eliminate the window air conditioner.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I'm looking for that too. Yes. You've got this magnificent view that's now kind of disrupted by a window air conditioner and a piece of plywood. And then the lower window and the lower doors, both of those will become open.
Beautiful buildings.
Mm-hmm. You know what? It's a shame when I brought people over to show them the building as I was going through the design and my agents to show them where their new home would be, everybody just kind of stood there and I said, now come way out here and get over the top of that awning and now look at it. And then everybody gets excited. So I think the absence of the awning. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing is on the inside, once I decided I was going to eliminate the awning, I started going through, we went through 2 ceilings before we got to the original 10 ceiling. So we tore out 2 ceilings and now we've got
You did go back to original on the high ceiling.
all the way to the original.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty magnificent. There's, again, I'm digressing, but there's these large round, I forget what you'd call them, but in the 10 ceiling, there's these large round pendants, if you will. I think there's 4 of them.
Yeah, medallion and
Medallions, thank you. So we're going to drop chandeliers off of each one of those the way it was most likely done. So hardwood floors, chandeliers, and I mean, that's really, and sconces along the wall, and that's about it. We took off the drywall. We're going to go back to the original plaster. There's going to be probably potentially some, I can't say there will be, but hopefully some brick exposed. There's an area where it looks like it would work pretty well. So there was, by the way, when we talked about the bank part, there were 4 vaults in there. Really? There were vaults inside of vaults. It was pretty interesting. 6,200-pound door.
Mm. I watched them take it out of there. I'm your neighbor right now.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm manager of the bank.
Ah, gotcha.
So,
yeah, it was pretty amazing. Those guys flew in from Phoenix.
yeah,
They did a phenomenal job. They were really, what they paid for the vault and what they paid me for the vault versus what they paid to get that thing home. They've got 5 times more in labor and travel than they do in the purchase.
That's fantastic.
So,
no,
anyway.
I'm very happy to see the improvements.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited about it. My agents are super excited. So it's going to be fun.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant?
Thank you for your time.
All right. It is a public meeting. If there's anybody from the public who would like to comment on this matter. Seeing no one from the public come forward, or we'll close the public comment portion on this matter. I don't know that we really have much to discuss. If not, I will entertain a motion to accept.
Move to accept the recommendation of the staff.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Christie, you take the roll, please.
George Piper,
Aye.
Dan Fleming,
Aye.
Linda Ridgway.
All right, motion carries 3-0. All right, thank you, and good luck, and looking forward to seeing what the finished product looks like.
Well, we'll definitely invite you.
All right, Christie, any other business before the board here today?
No.
Okay, I guess our next meeting tentatively, now will we have a meeting, if there's anything on the agenda, because I know typically we do the officers and other business that first meeting of the year,
That would be
January 3rd.
January, and we do not have an application at this point,
Okay.
so, and
Or-
the deadline is already passed for
Okay.
submittal, unless we got something that was, didn't require too much review from
Okay.
staff, but at this point, I haven't even been talking to anybody, so I
Okay.
don't anticipate anything.
Yeah, I mean, we could hold off on that business, I guess, until February or whenever we meet next. Christie will have a list of dates, meeting dates. It'll generally, I think we're still going to do first Thursday of the month at 6, holidays or other things pending?
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Okay, great.
So, we do have some things brewing, I'll tell you that much, so, if we don't have a January meeting, we'll certainly have a February meeting.
All right, sounds great. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.